The Spartans etched their name in history as the finest warriors of antiquity. However, to attain this prestigious status, the Spartans had to pay the price in sweat and blood. When a Spartan baby was born, they were taken to a sacred slope on Mount Tegetos. There, they underwent examination by a priest who searched for minimal imperfections that could hinder their development as Spartan warriors. If any physical defect or sign of weakness or illness was found, the baby was discarded and thrown from the slope, left to perish. Spartans fought using the phalanx formation, where all soldiers formed a solid block, believing that imperfect soldiers would be weak links in a chain. If a baby was deemed fit to develop as a Spartan soldier, they were handed over to a family that would raise them as a normal child until the age of 7. At that point, they were taken to the agog, a blend of barracks and military school, which would be their new home for many long years. Military education began from the first day, focusing on refining artistic, military, and disciplinary skills. Spartan youths were poorly fed to learn to cope with hunger and were encouraged to steal for sustenance. If caught, they faced punishment not for stealing but for getting caught. They were taught to endure pain and not to cry. One ritual involved whipping the boys in front of their relatives until they bled. Their families cheered and shouted for their children to resist and not faint. The most resilient brought prestige to their families and themselves. As they grew, their lives became even more challenging. They had to sleep on the ground, on a mat made of reeds, to become accustomed to the hardships encountered in war. They were no longer allowed to wear clothes or shoes, making them resistant to the cold, and their feet developed thicker skin. Upon reaching adolescence, they trained with wooden weapons, but the training was so intense and violent that many were seriously injured or even died using training weapons. At the age of 16, youths were tasked with the city's security. One of the final tests for a Spartan warrior aspirant was to kill a helot, a peasant servant, almost like a slave serving the Spartans. They had to strangle the victim and escape without being caught, proving their stealth and evasion skills. Those who completed the process by the age of 18 would be incorporated into the army. In addition to receiving training to become great warriors, the boys were educated to love the Spartan state above their own families. As adults, they were given a plot of land to be worked by the helots. Spartans were prohibited from engaging in any work other than military duties. Only upon reaching the age of 30 did they finally attain Spartan citizenship, allowing them political rights and participation in citizen assemblies. After serving in the army for over 40 years, soldiers who reached the age of 60 could retire. They could then run for the Gerousia, the Council of Elders. Due to all this effort and training, the Spartan army was extremely feared and admired throughout Greece and beyond. However, no other people desired to pay the price in sweat and blood to achieve Spartan excellence.